The Terminus decree was a mystery for Warhammer fans for a long time. It's always appeared in the Grey Knight's codexes and talked about how there's this mysterious and ancient secret, and only the Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights can unleash it. Well, we kinda know what it is. But before that, let's talk a little bit about the decree itself. Apparently, it's a plan, a parchment, hidden in a golden box, who looks kinda strange, and you can only identify it that it comes from one planet thanks to the sigil the golden box has. And that sigil can only be found on Terra, in the Imperial Palace, on the Golden Throne. You see where I'm going with this, but that is history. Though, this is what we knew until the release of The End and the Death Volume 1. Because what the Terminus decree really is something exceptional. You see, back in the day when the Emperor was waging war on Terra and being a warlord, trying to conquer everything, well, there was this biomechanical engineer of sorts guy who didn't much like the Emperor, and he was pretty good at his job. He could create monstrosities that we have never seen and we might never see ever again in the Warhammer world. But here's where it gets interesting, because this guy left. Of course, Malcador and his chosen, his sigilites went on, found him, and well, they found something else. You see, Constantine Valdor, who is presumed the Yellow King, found this guy first and ordered him to create a weapon. A weapon that can destroy, you know, the Space Marines to their genetic tempo. Temple? Template? Whatever. Yeah, genetic template. It also fixed the Primarchs. This was, of course, made by Constantine Valdor, but at some point, Malcador the Sigilite got his hands on that and exerted authority over the project. And boy, oh boy. You see, until now we know that there is this secret, ultra Astartes killing weapon. But it's not really confirmed as the Terminus decree, right? Because the Terminus decree is supposed to be used only when, you know, the Imperium is in its greatest and darkest hour. Well, during his ascension to the Golden Throne, Malcador the Sigilite was joined by 3 of his chosen. One of them was an interesting little lad that bare the name of Khalid Hassan. And what Malcador did then was basically throw a bunch of information into the heads of his 3 chosen, including Hassan. And Hassan got access to a project known as Terminus. Things are getting up together pretty good, right? Here's the thing. The Custodians were prepared for the Emperor's assault on the Vengeful Spirit. So they went to the dark cellars of the Imperial Palace and took everything they could, including this Terminus weapon. Now you see, this is interesting because Hassan then goes to them and basically tells them they are not allowed to do this. That Malcador knows about this project, that the Emperor knows about this project, as you can expect. And this whole weapon is to be kept in reserve and used only and only when Malcador or his heirs make the proper decision to unleash it. It's interesting because you know the Grey Knights are that. They are the heirs of Malcador the Sigilite. They cannot be corrupted by chaos. The best of their legions, that's who they are. It wouldn't surprise me if Veritas or Killer Sanderman, whatever, knew of this during the War of the Beast. Then again, during that time, it was kind of a useless weapon for them. But this whole revelation is interesting because we know that Space Marines can be killed. Primarchs can be killed even. We saw Sanguinius, Horus, well, saw it. We know that it happens to them. We know that it happens to, what's his name again? To Ferus Manus, everybody forgets him. Makes sense. We know that it happens. And we know very clearly, Space Marines can be killed easily. The 40k universe doesn't shy away from the fact that the greatest heroes of the Imperium can be killed. And it happens to pretty significant characters and pretty good ones. But you see, while we know that Primarchs can be killed in melee combat or psychic fights if you wish, and we know Space Marines can die in a bunch of ways, and if you want to kill a group of Space Marines you can use Exterminatus, virus bombs, a bunch of traps and a bunch of things designed to kill them. But the Terminus decree is the one that wipes out the genetic template of the Space Marines, traitor and loyalist alike. Now what we're talking here is a chemical weapon, a biological weapon that would destroy the forces of chaos forever. To the extent that the servants of chaos have only their own cults to serve them. The greatest weapons of the Chaos Gods are the corrupted Space Marines, because they are so good at doing their job. But without them, chaos is done for. What it has is insurgents, cultists, those that can be easily dispatched by even, what do you call them, the Astra Militarum. The downside is, this comes with the death of the Imperium's greatest weapon, the Space Marines. Even the Emperor has declared that this should be held in reserve because it's such an extreme and drastic measure, even though that would have brought him victory during the Siege of Terra, he didn't use it. And that's the most interesting part, because it's such an ultimate weapon. Oh, did I forget to mention one important thing about it? Because here's the thing. It kills Primarchs, it kills Space Marines, every single one. But it also comes with another interesting tidbit. No more can be created. That means that once the Terminus decree is unleashed, there will never be any more Space Marines. Because while the Thunder Warriors managed to survive, a few of them, the Space Marines will not have the same fate if this is unleashed. And this stands in the hands of the greatest warriors that the Imperium ever knows and will ever know, the Grey Knight. And it is by the will of the Supreme Grand Master that the Space Marines still exist. And it's funny because, think about this. When would you use a weapon like this? Well, let's say we get another heresy, another Imperium splitting war. One that, to be honest, if another heresy happens, the Imperium's done for. It's gonna be fractured way beyond repair at that point. Or can be used during a great push of chaos. And what we know from the Arcs of Omen Angron part is that, well, things aren't looking that bright for the Imperium right now. Now, of course, the Grey Knights have the possibility to use it, the ability to use it. But let's not forget that Guilliman is still a factor in this. Which is interesting if it ever comes to that. Knowing Guilliman, he'll probably take the decision to just end it all. But to be honest, if I was in his place, I would do the same. No joke here. Just end it all. Nevertheless, we now know what the Terminus decree is. This mystery that has been mentioned of, with the great power to save the Imperium in its darkest hour, has been finally revealed. And it's amazing in my opinion. I really think this amplifies the Grey Knights' lore and their weaponry to an extent in which they have the ultimate proof of what happens to the greatest warriors of the Imperium. The Space Marines can die the instant the Supreme Grand Master decides chaos has went on long enough. And that's amazing. In my opinion, that's pretty amazing, and I guess it pays off to be a Grey Knight fan at this point. I think it really does. But then again, this is only my opinion about it. I'm very welcome to see yours. But till then, I hope you enjoyed this, and see you in the next one.